Hello, Living Dead Dolls fans. This is Josh, aka Doggiepants, and I'm coming at you in partnership with Mezco Toys for another Living Dead Dolls review. So today I'm very excited because I got in the Resurrection Series 9 variant set. I haven't got the regular set in yet, but I thought, what the heck, I'll go ahead and review the Series 9 variants, and hopefully we'll get the regular version. We'll see. Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about Resurrection Series 9. It is 4 dolls, which is lovely. Last season we had 3 dolls and a Chaos Capsule. This season we have 4 dolls. And basically what happened is Damien created 13 poems to kind of give hints on the story of the 4 dolls. And basically it turned out that what we were looking for was 3 suspects of a murder that happened. We had to figure out which of those 3 suspects was actually the killer, and then also who the victim is. So the 3 suspects ended up being Elizabeth Bathory, Lizzie Borden, and Jack the Ripper. And then the victim is Fairy Fay. Now, Fairy Fay is a victim of Jack the Ripper, possibly. We don't exactly know. It might have been that she was just thought up by a reporter, apparently. So there's not a lot of proof that she actually existed, but she is a character in the Living Dead Dolls universe now. She's a new character. She's never been released before, so she's making her Living Dead Dolls debut as a Resurrection doll, which is kind of freaking cool, if you ask me. This set has gotten a lot of buzz about it. People have been excited about this set more than I've seen them excited about a Resurrection set in a long time, which is really, really cool. I think Mezco did an awesome job this year. But yeah, so enough of that. Let's take a look at the dolls, shall we? Like always, I'm going to start with their coffins. The coffin is just a standard black coffin. It does have a little bit of graining that we've seen in the past, very faint, kind of standard for the newer dolls. The plastic cover says Living Dead Dolls, just like always, but it does have a sticker on it that says 2015 Con exclusive Mezco Toys, even though these dolls were kind of referred to by Mezco as summer exclusives and not con exclusives. They still got that sticker. So it's an orange and black sticker too. It's pretty nice. It's on all of the covers. Now I'm going to show you something that I don't normally do, which is I'm going to show you all of their chipboards, because the chipboards are actually unique for the dolls, which I love. I love when they do that, especially for the Resurrection dolls. Oh, and I also want to say it's coffins. Last year it was window boxes, and it was all right, but I always prefer the Living Dead dolls in coffins. So just be aware, if you keep your dolls in box, this is a good set. Yeah, so here we go. It's a black box. The inlay is red, and here is the chipboard. So it says Resurrection 9. This one is Countess Bathory. It says Living Dead Dolls in the corner. And then the image on the board is actually unique to the doll itself. So there is Elizabeth Bathory bathing in blood, right? So that's Elizabeth Bathory. What do we got here? We got Jack the Ripper. So we see kind of a little arm holding a knife, and there seems to be a prostitute in the background hiding in the streets, which is pretty cool. The next one is Lizzie Borden. Now, Lizzie Borden, there's a little hand with a hatchet, and then there's a bed with some blood on it. It's a nice little scene there. And then the last one, Fairy Fay, is a black plastic coffin, which means if you are a sealed collector, sorry about it, you're not going to be able to see her in her sealed state. You'll have to open her up if you want to take a look at her, because she has a black lid. Now, we've seen this a couple of times before. I think this was on Jeepers. I can't remember who else it was that they did this kind of black lid, but yeah, so it does have the con exclusive sticker as well, but it is black. You can't see through it. But she does have her own chipboard as well. So there it says Fairy Fay, and we see the carcass of like a prostitute in the street. It's pretty hardcore. It's kind of scary, but really, really freaking cool. So let's take a look at the dolls, shall we? Like always, I'm going to start with my least favorite and go to my favorite. It's kind of an odd thing to do with this series because the series is really freaking good. They did a really good job with this Resurrection set, so they're all good. So I apologize if my least favorite is your favorite, but that's just the way it is. So, one other thing I want to mention too is that unlike Resurrection dolls in the past, we usually see kind of a regular set, and then we see a variant set where they've been redesigned a little bit. At least one or two of the dolls have been completely redesigned. That's not the case with this set. They basically just did a different color scheme, which is usually the case when they do variants for like the series dolls. But that's the way they handled this Resurrection set. And the variant set is actually sepia toned, so it feels like they're old pictures or old photographs of these dolls, since these are people that existed. It's kind of got an old style flair to it, which I really, really love. So you're going to see that a lot of the blood on the dolls and things are kind of black, and everything's tinted kind of an orangish, brownish color. It's really cool. So again, I'm going to start with my least favorite, go to my favorite. Starting with Lizzie Borden. Yeah, so there's actually a lot to like about Lizzie Borden. She's really neat. But I'm going to start with her outfit. So here we go. Here is her dress. Now on the top, you're going to see that it is kind of an orangish color, kind of a rust color, and then the skirt is a little bit of a darker brown than that. Now, the shirt does have a bit of a puffy sleeve. It's a very high collar, but there's no collar or anything. It just goes straight up. And then we've got this detail down the front that's lace. I'm going to bring it close so you can kind of see it, lace. And then there are four buttons that go down the front. They're obviously just for show. You can't actually button anything up. This is all one piece, and it does Velcro right here up the back. Now the skirt has some darts in them, so that does give it some volume right off the bat. There's no tool or anything underneath to kind of hold it in place, but it kind of stays pretty well on its own. You can kind of see that you can give it a little bit of shape and it'll stay out like that. It's a pretty nice detail. She also has black. It's kind of a lace material, though it doesn't have much of a design to it. A little bit of black around the bottom of her sleeve as well. That is her dress. It's a pretty simple dress. It's really nice. Great colors. One of the coolest things about Lizzie Borden this year is actually she has a different hairstyle than I think we've ever seen on any Living Dead doll before. It kind of has a little bit of a nod to the Series 5 dolls with, say, Jezebel or Dahlia. So it's really kind of a tight curl. Here we go. She's got kind of a little afro going on. It's a little bit of rust-colored red hair. But it's pretty well rooted. And I'm going to show you the top of it. You can see that there's a little bit of a part where it kind of comes out of that center rooting. You do want to be aware, though, that because it's a curl, they don't root it crazy thick. If you were to lift or move, you're going to see some bald spots, but it lays pretty well. It doesn't show any kind of baldness on the doll itself, usually when she's just sitting there. You do have to kind of futz with the hair a little bit to make sure that it's in a place that you like it. I've seen a lot of dolls in coffins, both the regular version and the variant version, where the afro's gotten really high on the top of the head, say, or something like that. So if you do take her out, you can kind of fix it and make it look nice and pretty. Yeah, but that is her hair. It's done pretty well. And then her face paint. Now, her glass eyes are terrifying. And my roommate has actually commented on the fact that her eyes are scary. And I think it's because they look like human eyes. So see that? She has a really standard human kind of brown eye with a black pupil, and there's speckling around it, everything. It looks pretty realistic, and it's kind of scary. She has some eyelashes that come off of that eye, and then she has a pretty simple brown eyebrow. There's blood that's splattered up onto her face. Like I mentioned before, the blood is black because of the sepia tone. She has a black lip, and you're probably not going to be able to tell in this video much, but there is just the slightest bit of airbrushing that comes around her eyes and comes out, and it's just a little bit darker in color than her regular skin. But she is pretty scary. There's also blood on her right hand. There we go, because that is the hand that she was using with her giant axe, which happens to be, bam, an accessory that she comes with. So this axe, I believe, is the exact same design as the regular Lizzie Borden from Series 2. So here is the axe. It's pretty nice. The blood on the axe, to match the sepia tone color, is black. There is a peg here on the bottom of the axe, so it can go into her hand and she can hold it. I don't know if I want to futz too much with it right now in the video, but you can get her to hold it. So she's kind of haunting and coming to kill somebody, right? But yeah, but that is her axe. And that is Lizzie Borden. Now, I am going to show you this new Lizzie Borden with the old school Lizzie Borden from Series 2, so you can kind of see the changes that they've made. Obviously, her face is very different than the stylized version that they had for Series 2, but it's super, super haunting. Love her. Great doll. Yeah, so she comes in 4th place, but a strong 4th place. Great doll. All right. Next up we have Jack the Ripper. The actual killer of this series, right? He is a great doll. Super scary. Cool. Some neat things that I haven't seen on dolls before. But again, I just like this series, so he comes in third place. Starting with his outfit, all right? His outfit's actually really incredible. There's 4 pieces to this outfit if you don't count his hat. 5 if you count his hat. And they're all super high quality. So right off the bat, we do have his cape, right? So he's got this really thick cape. It's like a wool material. It's very different than anything I've seen on a Living Dead doll before. There is a bit of a layer to this, right? So he's got a big collar. It's not the double collar that we saw in the old version, but it is a collar. It's a thick collar. And there is another kind of poofed up, ooh, can you see it there? It's like stitched to have a little bit more volume here right at the top of the collar as well. This is the one little complaint that I have about him, is that I really hate it when you can't take things off of the Living Dead dolls. And he's got the little gold chain that attaches right underneath his chin. Can you see that in the video? So basically what that means is that you cannot remove his cape unless you pop off his head. So be aware of that. But you can remove his apron, which I'm going to get to in just a second. So his apron, he's got this scary, I'm going to butcher somebody apron going on, right? And it is kind of a muslin kind of, muslin material. And it is blood splattered, right? So there's this giant thing of blood coming down there, speckling everywhere. And it is tied in the back right here, right? And then you're going to notice that it goes kind of looped around his neck. So you'd think that you can't take it off. But Mezco was pretty smart, and they put a little teeny piece of Velcro right here because they wanted to show off the rest of his outfit, I guess. So you can undo that Velcro right there, untie it in the back, bam, bam, and then this thing comes off pretty simply. So yeah, the only other thing that I want to show you about this apron is that it does have a little pocket right in the front. So if you do want to shove his knife in there or something, I don't know, you can do that, but it's a pretty cool little piece right there. So I'm going to leave it off for the rest of the video because it's a pain in the butt to get back on. Not a pain in the butt, but a pain in the butt when you're trying to do a video. So yeah, so that is his apron. Now we've got his cool outfit underneath. So he's got these like dark brown plaid pants with a little bit of kind of like red stripes here and there. And then he's got these brown shoes. He does have socks, black socks. They're pretty standard Living Dead doll shoes too. There's some darts on the pants right here. Now the vest is also a separate piece. So it does have, it's like a wool material as well. It's really thick fabric. But it does Velcro right here down the front. So there are those 3 buttons there, but they're just for show. It Velcros, you can open it. And then he's got this shirt underneath. Now the shirt and the pants are all one piece, so they are stitched together. But the shirt, unlike a lot of Living Dead dolls in the past when they have kind of this suit feel to them, the shirt is actually long sleeved, or like short sleeved, I guess, but like usually it's a tank top kind of a thing. Not with him, because you can see it when he has his apron on as well. So they have a sleeve to it. It is cuffed and stitched right there. There's blood splattering on the sleeves, obviously, and a little bit on his collar of his shirt. And then he's got this cute little ribbon tie right here that's just tacked onto the front of the shirt, so that's not removable either. There is a seam down the front of the shirt to kind of give you a feel that it's a dress shirt, but it is all one piece, and it does Velcro right up the back. Yeah, but that is his outfit, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. Really nice quality, you guys. Really good, Mezco. And then he has his hat, which is a standard kind of Living Dead dolls plastic hat, right? So it's black. It has a little bit of kind of the felt feel to it. There's a ribbon that goes right above the brim right there, and it is plastic, so it can break. You want to make sure that you don't break these. I've had a lot of people, and my blue, I think, has a broken hat. Sometimes they fall off shelves, things like that. You want to be careful with him. But yeah, so there's that. Obviously, we've talked about the blood splattering that is all over this doll, right? It's on his arms. He's got blood all on this hand. He does have a curved hand, so he can hold his knife. And then there's blood splattering that also goes up his face. Let's take a look at his face. Here is his face, right? So beautiful doll. He has this kind of like flecked, or whatever you call it, hairstyle that we first saw on maybe the Psychobilly, I think. It is brown in color. I actually like the regular version a little bit better because he's red hair, and I think it's kind of cool and creepy. He has these great sideburns, though. Look at his mutton chops that come down right there, right? And it's really nice quality. It doesn't feel like any of it's going to fall or have any bald spots or anything. It's really nice. He's got the same color as his hair. His eyebrows, which are a little arched. He's got these eyes that are pretty scary. They're red on the outside, and then there's a circle of, it's kind of like in between white and pink. It might just be white and looks kind of pink because of the eyes, but then there's a black pupil as well. He's got a simple little teeny bit of color on his lips, but other than that, I mean, he's a boy doll, so he doesn't have a lot of face paint. There is, I don't think there's, no, there is a little bit of airbrushing on him as well, but it's very, very faint. There we go. Yeah, but that is Jack the Ripper, right? Here is his knife. It is a standard Living Dead Dolls knife, but it does have black blood on it because it is the sepia tone knife. So if you do keep accessories together, you'll be able to tell exactly which one's his. And it does slip nicely into his open palm, so he can be on your shelf, being pretty scary to Fairy Fay if you wanted to go that route. Yes, so there you go. That is Jack the Ripper. Let me put his hat back on him. Bam, bam, bam. I will show you against the old version of Jack the Ripper, I guess. The original version of Jack the Ripper was actually a UK exclusive, I believe. But yeah, he's got a much bigger coat, and he's got some blood splattering on him as well. But yeah, these are the two Jack the Rippers side by side. There you go. All right, moving on. This might be a long video, guys. Sorry about it. All right, so next up is the victim, Fairy Fay. Bam! Love her. Love her color hair. I think it's super nice. The red, beautiful. The rust color dress, beautiful. Super pretty. Gory as hell. Like, well done, Mesco. You kind of just went for it. Yeah, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Her dress is really nice. It's all one piece. Let me kind of hold it up so you can get a look at it. It is kind of a rust color as well. There are black stripes that go vertical. Her bodice, we'll start with that. She's got kind of a square cut bodice right here that shows off a lot of the blood splattering. There's blood splattering all on the front of her shirt as well, her dress. Her sleeves are a little bit of poofy, and the way that they did it, they have some elastic here around the bottom, and then also right in the middle there's elastic too, so you can kind of choose where the bunch is going to be in the arm, right? So you can kind of bring it all the way down. You can bunch it up where you want it to be. It's really pretty. And then she's got these great folds in the front of her dress that gives her dress a little bit of volume. It is a separate piece, so it's lifted right there, and it is kind of tacked right around the bottom of the bodice, right? Now, she's got this sash in the middle that goes all the way around and creates this giant kind of tied, it's almost like a bustle, but it's not really a bustle. It's just a big bow kind of in the back of her dress. So there's two bits to it there, and then also two little hangy pieces, so it is a giant bow. These get a little bent out of shape, so you may have to reform them a little bit when she comes out of the coffin, but that's all right. It's kind of cool. She seems a little thrown around, beaten, kind of been put in a rough state, obviously, because she is a victim of Jack the Ripper, and she's gone through some serious hell. You can't untie this piece, right? So it looks like it's a sash that goes around the center and then ties in the back, but that's not really the case. Everything is tacked into place, and the Velcro of the dress actually goes along the side of the tie there. So it is easy to get her out of the dress if you wanted to, and you don't need to worry about messing up the giant bow in the back. There's no petticoat or anything to help keep the dress out, but she's a prostitute, so she wouldn't have much of that. Her boots are the standard Living Dead Doll witchy boots. She doesn't have any socks, so that's exactly the same as Lizzie Borden. Can't remember if I mentioned that she had boots, but same boots. But yeah, there's that. Let's start looking at her hair. Her hair, so she's got these ringlets that we've seen on Living Dead Dolls before, so there's a lot of gel in this doll's hair. Be aware of that. I don't hate it because she's got a hairstyle. What are you going to do? You gotta have it in some kind of, some means to keep it in that form, right? But because of the ringlets, she's not super thickly rooted. So just be aware that if you have the ringlets in the wrong kind of spot, you can see some bald spots a little bit. I wish her hair was a little bit thicker, and that's probably the only reason that I don't have her at the top of my list. And the other thing is the ringlets do get a little kind of unruly when they come right out of the coffin, so just be aware of that. You may have to kind of futz with them a little bit, but she's also a victim of Jack the Ripper, so she shouldn't be too pretty. Let's be real. Yeah, so going on to the paint job, you're going to notice, obviously, that she is missing a hand because things got a little rough that night. It's covered in blood. It is that kind of hand that they use, I think, first on Gregory, which is the bones sticking out, and there's like, it's really hacked. It's pretty gross. But black blood. And she is a ripped-faced doll, right? So the side of her face is ripped. You can see her teeth there. There's blood splattering, dripping all down her face. There's a cut that's right on the top of her forehead right there. That's not part of the mold. Obviously, the rip is that's the only thing that's really part of the mold. Everything else is paint. Blood splattered. The eye also looks like it has a little bit of a cut. Her eyes are white, so it's kind of that dead, haunting glass eye that we've seen on a couple of Resurrection dolls in the past. Super, super cool. She is a mess. I mean, look at her. The face paint's really, really nice. There's a little bit of airbrushing, kind of a yellowish brown that comes up off of her eyes. And she does have a very faint brow as well that you can see that kind of helps her look a little surprised. Like Jack really, caught her off guard, and yeah, it's pretty scary. The paint is got some shine to it, so it really does look like blood as well. It's pretty scary. But yeah, that's Fairy Fay. Great doll. Obviously, there's not a regular version of Fairy Fay because she's brand new to the LDD world. So welcome, Fairy Fay. Hopefully we'll see another version of you soon. So that means, obviously, that my favorite doll of the series is Elizabeth Bathory. I mean, it's interesting, too, because when they first released images of these dolls, I was really into Lizzie Borden. I was really into Fairy Fay, and I thought Elizabeth Bathory was cool, but I was like, oh, yeah, she's cool. But you get her in person, and she's terrifying. I've actually had people reference just how terrifying she is. I have a frickin' wall of Living Dead dolls, so if they can point out that doll and be like, that one's scary, then Living Dead doll is doing something right. So let's take a look at her outfit. Her outfit has got some shine to it. It's like a satin material almost. The bodice, here we go, is kind of a rust color underneath of this, it almost looks like a corset, where there is, like a ribbon that goes up over her shoulder with some ribbon cross hatching in the front. There's white underneath that. So it gives you the illusion of a lot of pieces. Don't be fooled. All one piece. This is all attached, so you cannot remove this corset at all. She does have a nice like puffy sleeve. You're going to see right there that does taper down to a really tight sleeve down to her wrist. Then she's got this great skirt, right? So it does kind of open up. So it looks like there's a skirt underneath. This underneath skirt is tacked on the inside. We've seen them do this before, so it doesn't go all the way around. But it does have a really nice kind of pattern on it. So you can see these like little loops that kind of go around, but it's a really dark material. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on this video. It's got kind of a rust color to it, a dirty rust color to it. And then there's also kind of the smudging from what would be the blood on the front of her dress. Now, along the opening of this outside layer of the skirt, there is that same ribbon that was on the front of Lizzie Borden's shirt. And then two little ribbon bows right here on the bottom. It's all pretty dark in color. I doubt you're going to be able to see it in this video, but it is really, really nice. It's a nice detail. The other nice detail about this is she has a petticoat. So there is a little bit of tulle underneath to help give her a little bit of volume. You do want to be careful, though, because this tulle likes to slip down a little bit. Actually, but I think it's attached. I think it might actually be attached underneath there. But it's cool. It's really cool. Helps give the skirt a little bit of volume. She has the witchy boots that almost all the girls have this series. So there we go. No socks, though, on this doll. That's all right. She doesn't need it. And then she's got this amazing collar, right? So it's also satin material. It's not super like stiff or anything like that. It has some give to it. And the way they did it is they created, this accordion effect, right? And then underneath, you're going to see that there's this little piece of thread that kind of holds that all together to keep the accordion detail, in place. So you want to be careful that little thread doesn't get snipped or anything like that, because you might lose some appeal of her neck piece. The neck piece is not velcroed on or anything like that. It's just permanent, so you can't take it off. Sorry about it, guys, but you know, what are you gonna do? Doesn't really bother me because it's so cool. I wouldn't want to take it off anyways. Her hair is really pretty thickly rooted, especially when you see dolls that have got their hair pulled back like this. It feels super, super thick, and I think it was because they were trying to get a little more volume for this giant bump in the back, right? So it's all pulled back. It's held together with kind of that clear, elasticy kind of plastic that we've seen in the past. And it's held together, and it's got this nice, like, well, I don't want to say 60s because she's a period doll. She's not from the 60s, but it has that, like, perfect bump it feel to it, right? There's a little bit of texture coming out the back, but her hair is on point, y'all. Looks great. And then also in the front right here, you're going to see that her bangs are pulled on the side behind her ears and then held with another little piece of plastic in the back. Where can I get that? There you go. So you can kind of see, right? That's how they get that slicked look for her bangs. It's the same kind of thing that we saw on Ruby not that long ago. Yeah, but super, super nice. Her face paint. Look at this haunting, scary, scary face paint. So she's got the black blood dripping down her head from her black lips and her mouth. She has a really kind of stylized black eyebrow. And then her eyes, the outside of the eyes looks almost like a faint yellow, but she's got these really big, big pupils. So she's just kind of terrifying with a little white dot right in the center, right? But yeah, but that is Elizabeth Bathory. So here she is. No accessories for Elizabeth Bathory, but she wouldn't really need them. And here is the old school version, if you want to see the two of them next to each other. So you can definitely see the difference in the collar, right? Her collar, in my opinion, is far superior. Really, really freaking cool. Love it. All right. So that is the 4 dolls, y'all. This is a great, great set. Now, you do want to get out there and get them. Unfortunately, not unfortunately for Mezco, I guess, they're selling really, really well. Or sold really, really well. Obviously, they always sell out of Resurrection, but what I mean is, like, the popularity of these dolls is really, really high. So finding them, they're a little bit more expensive than I've seen Resurrection dolls be in the past. So it's up to you if you want to try to track them down now or give it 6 months to try to track them down, because really your only way to find them right now is on eBay, and the scalpers are out like crazy and they ask a lot. So just be aware. They might be very hard to find right now. They might be a little easier to find in 6 months, but I have a feeling they're going to go down as some damn good Resurrection dolls, so they're going to always probably be a little on the pricier side. But they're worth it. They're really cool dolls. I really, really love this series. Great, great job, Mezco. Yeah, but that's it. So there we go. That is Resurrection Series 9 variants. Again, I hope I get the Resurrection regular version, just so I can kind of compare them, and also all 3 of them together, the regular version and the 2 Resurrection versions, just so you can kind of see, how they all work together. But great dolls. Get out there and buy them if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's a long video. It's like a half an hour. What are you going to do? They're cool dolls. There's a lot to say. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If I don't get the Resurrection dolls, I'll definitely come back probably in the next month or so, or maybe even sooner, to continue my series reviews, because I really got to get through those. I think I'm on series 16 maybe. Yeah, but that's it. Thanks so much for watching. All right, guys. Take care. Bye. Pushed her on her back, got up my jack, the time is nearly here. Well, slapped her once and I slapped her twice, run my razor right down her side, watch the blood soak in the sheets. Man, that's cold, girl, that's neat.